Okay, so recording started. What I'd like to show you, everybody, is the resources for the course. Okay, so what you see here in front of you is the website that I use for my own work. I do various things through the week, and one of them is this kind of thing, the mindfulness courses. Okay, so you'll see there the website, focusdaytraining.co.uk. That's part of my email. I'll show you that as well. From the attendance list today, then I will be sending feedback back out to you, and you'll have my email there for any questions. But what I'd like to draw your attention to is the mindfulness button. You'll notice straight away on the mindfulness button, Teesside Uni, MBLC turns up, and MBLC, Mindfulness Based Living Course. And if we click into that, you'll notice that we need a password. The password is lowercase MBLC. Again, I'll send that out to you at the end of the session. So MBLC, and we'll enter straight away. There's a little description on the course. I'll leave that for you to read. You'll see some logos there, mine in the middle, yours at Teesside University. And what's made this course possible is a little bit of funding from the Everyone project. I'll talk about those later. You know, we'll bring that up as we go through the course. So a little bit of information. There are 8 weeks. Okay, you'll notice here labeled week 1, 2, 3, and all the way through to week 8. Today, week 1, we have 2 recordings. We have the main meditation for tonight. And this is the meditation that starts the building blocks for everybody. Okay, it's called Settling the Mind. I will talk us through live in the teaching session, but here on the website, it's my voice, and it pretty much replicates what we're going to be doing live. There is, I'm not going to call it a manual, but there is a handbook that complements the course. It's really comprehensive. I would say each week, 2 or 3 pages of A4, just to set the scene on what we're talking about. So I will bring in elements of the handbook into our chat, but for those of you who'd like to get a little bit more or listen to a little bit more, you'll notice here audio session 1 is an audio version. It's a female voice talking through the first session. Okay, talking through the first session of the manual. However, you can also download that manual yourself. You can print it out if you've got some print credits left. Maybe we could persuade someone at the university to do that for us. I'm not sure if that's possible. But you'll notice there, MBLC manual. So you can download that. So read it at will, print it out if you want to, or just listen to the recordings. As we progress all the way through to week 8, so from next week, you will, well, you'll see here, 2 meditations every week after today. Okay, 2 meditations, and each one has a purpose. Each one is described in the handbook. I'll talk about it live in the session, and there you'll see you've got the audio session too, if you want to kind of top up, have reminder, or just learn that way. Yeah. And the buttons at the bottom, my teaching and my training, everything's been done by the Mindfulness Association. So after we've completed today's session, you will have free access to join the Mindfulness Association nightly and daily sits. They are free for anybody to join. So I'd recommend that to all of you. I'll be kind of promoting that every week. So a free Mindfulness Association sit, it takes you through, that link there takes you through to a Zoom link, 10:30 Monday to Friday, and also 7 p.m. on an evening, free to join. There's usually about 40, 50 people from around the UK. Just join in. There's no need to show your face. There's no need to speak. You could just join in and have a person live talking through. What you'll notice is the same meditations, the same style of teaching. So again, an additional resource there for people. You know, you might think, oh, I've missed something. The meditations with the free sits are random. They don't follow what we're doing. We're doing week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you'll start to realize that they are the very same meditations. If you want to check out, you'll notice the next one, the Mindfulness Association apps. The app that you can download also has all the meditations that we're doing. Yeah, so you can, yes, you can listen to my own recordings, but you can also listen to the Mindfulness Association kind of head office recordings. You might have a preferred voice. You may not be too keen on my voice. Equally, on the Mindfulness Association, there's a New Zealand accent and there's a female accent. So it's kind of something there perhaps for a little more choice. The manual is also replicated in a book. You can find that on Amazon, and the end link there, a link to the Everyone project, but I'll talk about them later. And you've got a little fun animations, just 5 minutes on kind of what is mindfulness. So here is everything that you need for the next 8 weeks. If life is busy and something takes over and you can't make it, this is where you're going to find everything. Okay. So again, I'll just put my chat. If you have any questions, then yeah, if you have any questions, then please do put them through on the chat. Or if you want to raise your hand, I'm looking at the chat from earlier. And you've got Matthew there. I also want to be able to put my phone down more. Yes. Okay. So in answer to Matthew's kind of comment, and okay, some of us might be on our phones while we do this Teams meeting. And you've seen all the resources there. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to access everything through the phone or PC with the headphones on. I am also going to recommend or encourage you sometimes to lead yourself with a meditation of the week. Yeah. And it might help you to realize that we don't necessarily need to have a voice in the background leading us. It's fantastic to start with, and it's a fantastic way to learn. Yeah, I still do it. I find it very useful. Kind of helps me to disengage that, and it's like, I don't need to work, but let someone else do the work. Yeah, and absorb it that way. However, if you're wanting to put that phone down, if you get the gist of the meditation, so for example, it's very simple tonight, the settling the mind, it's all just about the breathing routine. So to know that you can lead yourself is a bonus. Yes, I'm not going to check who's been downloading anything. It's just there as a support for you, like a form of scaffolding, isn't it? Yeah. Ultimately, if you have no phone or you put the phone down and you decide to have 5, 10, 15 minutes worth of meditation, knowing the routine, you can be not necessarily talking out loud, but talking in your head. So it might be something like, it might sound something like this. I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing in. And that's just, it would be internal and quiet. Yeah, I'm noticing what's going on around me. Yeah, I'm feeling the stress in my belly. Yeah. So it's not a strange thing to be talking to ourselves. In fact, I encourage it in a mindfulness sense. Okay, so a couple of thumbs up there, thank you. And we seem to be okay with what I have mentioned. Right. I think, folks, the key here, let me stop sharing. I'm going to keep the recording going. And really, let me just stop. We just have a thumbs up there. Yeah, we have a hands up there from Siegel or Seigel.
Hi, my name's JJ.
Hello.
I was just wondering what the password was for the website because I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, sure. I'll put it in the chat for everybody. Basically, it is, there you go, MBLC.
Thank you.
No problem. And again, everything, I'm going to back up everything I say on the email or in the Teams chat after I've got the attendance list. No problem. Thank you. Okay. So let's start. Let's do this thing. Yeah. In fact, that's maybe the wrong wording. Do. The whole idea is that we actually aren't doing anything. Yeah. It's kind of counter to this Western way of living of ours. Yeah. We're going to eke out a little space each week, or when you meditate in your own time, to not do anything. Yeah. Other than be with ourselves and be with the meditation practice. There are big benefits to that. Okay, self-awareness being one of them. Focus, responding, less stress. It goes on. However, we need to know what we're dealing with. Yeah, when it comes to our own mind. Yeah, and the idea is we're going to learn to become more acquainted to the goings on internally of the mind and the body. Sometimes we don't like it. Sometimes we do. Okay. But again, the nuances of what we're trying to do here, I will explain more. You'll notice in the manual, or when you download the manual, there are a couple of images at the beginning explaining maybe how to sit correctly, how to hold our posture. But to start with tonight, I would just like you to be relaxed. Yeah. Just be relaxed, but find a comfortable position. In time, you may want more cushions. You may want a blanket. When we're being quiet and still cold outside, isn't it? I'm not sure what your student accommodation is like, but a blanket might be useful. When we are being still, the body does tend to cool down a little bit, but it's also soothing, calming, like a safe place. This is what we really want to encourage you to develop. Looking after ourselves. Now, as I'm getting closer to our first exercise, you might be thinking, okay then, John, so how do I sit? What do I do with my eyes? It's entirely up to you to start with, but I'm going to recommend a few options here. There's no need for anybody to be sitting cross-legged on the floor, unless that is your natural way of sitting, or you have let's say you've developed that kind of thing with your own spirituality, your own well-being exercises, or you're just really flexible. Yeah, it's taken me 10 years to sit cross-legged, so I'm in no rush to do that. Yeah, so comfortable chair. Just be sitting upright. I'll always encourage. Like take a few stretches before we do an exercise. Yeah, because I'll maybe role model. I'll stand up, have a bit of a shake out of the body, and then come to sit down ready to do this thing that we're going to be calling meditation. Yeah. In time, I'd recommend having our eyes slightly open, slightly closed. But I want you to experiment. Yeah. So tonight, close your eyes. Then maybe open your eyes. Notice what happens. So typically, a lot of the teaching, a lot of the science, when our mind starts to wander, because you will notice that tonight, when our mind starts to wander, if our eyes are closed, it wanders a lot easier and it becomes quite visual. We start either fantasizing or remembering past events or thinking about future events. Yeah. A bit like a dream state, or just images from the day. We fall into the memory, and that's very distracting. Yeah. what we're wanting to do is be a bit more here and now, present moment. Yeah. So having a little bit of daylight in helps people to like, right, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. I'm in my home room, it's a bit cold. But if my eyes were closed, you could be anywhere. And this is what will happen. And this is what we're interested to find out, where people go, what you experience, how busy is your mind. And over the 8 weeks, we would have learned so many different skills to help us deal with the nature of our minds. Minds are naturally restless. You'll come to discover that. You might know that already. Yeah. The mind, it's like Matthew, the mind gets addicted to things quite easily, the mobile phones. Yeah. Life in general. Fast food, who knows? There's all sorts going on. Again, we will bring up different topics that affect our well-being and how mindfulness meditation can support us. Okay, so let's start. And this will be the only time when we actually are going to sit in silence together. Yeah, I'm doing that on purpose. It's part of the program. But we need to know and to watch what the mind is doing when we're being quiet and there is no additional input from a teacher, or from, when you do it yourself, or when you listen to a recording. We're just going to have quiet in this session. I know there's going to be noise out there in the real world. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get, I will lead us, but with silence. And I'm going to ring the virtual bell to start. You'll hear me say a couple of phrases, but then there'll be long pauses, maybe about 5 minutes. It might feel uncomfortable. Hey, but the whole point of mindfulness meditation is to be aware, to get close to the uncomfortable things in our life so that we find them less stressful. Ultimately, we're kind of teaching ourselves. Yeah. And you got a comment there from Matthew. And I think it might link in with a lot of what other people are thinking. It does with me. Motivation has been a big problem for me lately. Yeah. Not sure if this will be able to help with that. Mainly due to other things on my mind, I believe. Okay. So maybe to help us all with that, we're going to be our own experiment. We are going to take an observing perspective on what's going on within and in there. Yeah. Some of us, like me, have that internal voice that says, "Oh, stuff that I can't be bothered." Yeah, we'll put a couple of expletives in there as well. Maybe, it's like, "Oh yeah, whatever." And we do that, don't we? But that internal voice drives motivation sometimes. We've also got the dark nights. We've also got food, drink, alcohol, other things that get in the way. We've got deadlines, pressure. Yeah, there's all sorts that feed into the motivation thing, Matthew. But what I think mindfulness meditation can help with is not clearing the decks, but maybe giving a bit more clarity to what's going on. Yeah, to help us go, right, that part of my academic life is really busy. That part of my social life is really, X, Y, Z. And to help us not necessarily put it into compartments, but to help see clearly and to untangle the mess and to stand back and look at it for a few minutes in the day. Yeah, that trains the mind to go, I don't need to be involved all the time, drawn into the phone or wherever you're going, or I've got to do some research. We actually need the opposite as well. We need the balance. We need to stand back, sit back, and have a moment, a mindful moment. Yeah. So with that in mind, you'll notice it in handbooks called the unsettled mind, but it's just basically quiet. I'm going to invite you to stretch, then sit down, eyes open, eyes closed. We will find our own comfortable position. It's like I'm really kind of on the edge of my seat here with a big cushion because it helps my back to be more upright. Yeah. You might be just on a cushion or laid on a bed. It's fine. Just be comfortable. Okay. So let's go. And so, as I've said, this will be the only time where we have extended levels of silence. And the only thing for us to do right now is to be observant or just noticing what on earth is going on. Yeah. A sense of humor, perhaps. Nothing to get right here. And then we'll use this experience as a bit of learning before we go on to the second stage. Okay. So just sitting here and doing nothing. And I just want us to be honest with ourselves about what's kind of going on or what we're noticing. Yeah. There is a purpose, trust me, to why we're having this moment of silence. Maybe you might want to close your eyes and just notice what happens when you do that. It won't be long before your mind gets a little bit fed up of whatever we're supposed to be doing, and it will probably start to distract you in some way, right? So that's going to be completely normal, and it might just help us realize, actually, my mind is quite busy. Yeah, this is what I'm dealing with. Okay, and I'm going to be quiet again for another minute. You can have your eyes open or closed. Just begin to kind of explore and self-experiment. Just repeating that question, or the repeating what we're supposed to be doing. What are we noticing? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that most of us won't be peaceful and quiet. But we're going to use what we notice as a learning to move us forward. Okay. So again, just maybe 30 more seconds. Okay, so if you can hear that bell sound, I'll typically start every meditation that we do with one bell. And when we finish, you'll notice the end because I'll do it 3 times. Hopefully you'll notice the speed of the bell, yeah? Slow, resonating. It's that's the attitude that we want, okay? So here's my first kind of set of questions to the group, okay? Again, I know we've all just met, so no pressure with the showing faces or anything like that. I'm going to ask the question or two, and then I will take off the record, and so we'll have a bit of kind of private time, and then we'll move on. So I'm curious, and that is an attitude within mindfulness. I'm curious of what you experienced, okay? And the only way we're going to learn this subject of mindfulness and mindfulness meditation is by focusing on our emotions, thoughts, and body sensation. Yeah, you'll notice that's how I'm talking. So if people do type in or put the hand up, John, I noticed that my mind was racing, and so I'm going to be well, what else was going on in the body, perhaps, or did you notice what was happening in your thoughts? Yeah. So thoughts, emotions, body sensations. This is what we're dealing with, and this is what we're getting closer to and watching and observing and being familiar with. Okay. To do that, we need focus, attention, and awareness. So as we progress, we're going to develop those skills. We've just had maybe 4 minutes of quiet with no direction. Yes, so it's like, what on earth was going on there? Purposely nothing. Yeah. So what I'm interested in is can you describe what you noticed? And there is no wrong answer. And I will use some of the chat comments to move our learning forward. Okay, so what did you notice? Can you describe it? I don't expect an answer for everyone because we don't have time to go through everybody. Yeah, but if you want to and you feel comfortable, please do type. We've got Sarah already. Now, just let me tell you what, Sarah. Let me just stop the recording. Somewhere along here, I'll be able to stop it. Just one moment. There we go.